Hello, welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Betholkis, and this is Titans, Season 2, Episode 13, Nightwing. Welcome, everyone. Um, as is usual, I'm going to get down to some business first, and then I will set things up here. So if you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. You can hit all those buttons down there. If you want to know when I'm be on live again next, excuse me, you can hit the little bell down below here. If you already hit the bell, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. You can go to the bell settings, get as many or as little notifications as you want. If you want to know when I'm really going to be on, because that's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you when I'm on, you can go to my website, suspendedfanimation.com, and actually take a look at the schedule that's up there. I change it out every week. And also, I mirror that on my Facebook page. Speaking of Facebook, I do have a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and talk amongst yourselves. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram. I also have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. I will have that by the end of this year, beginning of next year. So yes, Marks, today is the last day of Titans, and then it's dropped after this. I take that back. There is one more video of this next week, and that's to take care of the poster contest. So that's right, the poster contest. See this little guy right here? All you got to do is put in a comment at the end of this video here when it becomes a video. Put a comment down below in the comment section, and all you need is one comment. You don't need to do multiple comments because you're only getting one entry per, one entry. That's it. No matter how many comments that you leave on there. After that, then you've got basically a whole week in order to comment. And then I'm going to do a small video next Friday where I pick the winner and a runner up. And you need to be living in the continental United States because shipping costs are really expensive. So yeah, I'm only shipping continental United States. That's it. So there you go. Um yeah, with that said, let's get into it. Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch the episode. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the brand new paddle. There we go. All right. So, for those of you who haven't joined me before on this, I do a recap first, then I do a review. So, uh, you can skip over to the review if you want, however you want to do it. This is the way I've been doing this for a while, and it helps me go through this. So, uh, we see at the very beginning here, Mercy is basically auctioning off Connor as a super soldier to the highest bidder, and she's providing a demonstration of him by having him shoot at her with a gun, and then he super speeds over and grabs the bullet before it gets anywhere near her. So after the presentation is over with, Walter is like, "Oh, that's great and everything," and she says, "Nope, there's one more thing," and she has Connor flick the bullet into Walter's head, killing him. And then she tells him, "Welcome to phase 2." And we see the street carnival at night with Gar walking around with a snow cone, and he starts hearing classical music, and of course is activated at this point. We hear a little growl, and of course he's going to go and become a tiger at this point. So Corey and Rachel end up telling Donna and Dawn that Dick scrawled, Jericho is alive on the wall of his cell. And Rachel, saying that she keeps having dreams of Dick dying at Deathstroke's hand or in Deathstroke's hand. Yeah. And they're also planning a break into Cadmus Labs to break out Gar and Connor at this point. So, yeah, there's a lot of irons in the fire that are happening here. So, Corey also lets them know that her powers have somehow vanished. She doesn't know how. And Rachel says she can't be 100% with her powers, that they won't be out of control at some point in time. So yeah, it's well, that's how shit crumbles now at this point. They get notice that a wild animal is loose in Golden Gate Park, and they realize that phase 2 has begun. So they're in the car and they're on the way to the park, and Rachel basically says that she's not going to hurt Gar no matter what happens, no matter what he's done. And Deathstroke suddenly attacks them. She starts shooting at the car at random. He found them at random somehow and starts shooting at their car. And Corey says she'll draw his fire and basically everyone can go and attack him. And as she steps out of the car, she gets grazed by a bullet on her arm and jumps back in to the car and, of course, is injured at this point. And then something lands on the roof of their car. It turns out to be Dick in his new Nightwing suit. And he's going to take on Deathstroke. So, he uses a little batarang, gets rid of you know, one of the guns that Deathstroke has, and they start having a fight. This is honestly very, very contrived, quite honestly. How they, just how he ended up finding them at random in the car, and Dick ends up being there too. I was like, all right, whatever, man. Sure. And we could just do it that way. And Nightwing, is fighting Deathstroke at this point, and Dick tries to reach Jericho as Rachel heals Corey. She grabs under her arm and heals her, and Deathstroke gets the upper hand on Dick, and Ravager ends up arriving, and Deathstroke, fills in Dick at this point that Rose was the one who told him that they were getting back together again, and Dick's like, "Yeah, I know. I'm not late to the party here, dickhead." And he goes, "Oh, I'm glad that you came in to, now to stand by my side." And she's like, "No, I'm not on your side. I'm with the Titans. They're my family now." And she ends up standing with Dick, and they end up fighting Deathstroke, of course, at this point. And Ravager ends up running her sword through him, and then she takes off Deathstroke's mask and talks to Jericho and basically says, "Now's the time to come out if you're going to come out." And she ends up, absorbing Jericho's essence, if you will, or his soul, or whatever it is. And Deathstroke supposedly dies. Quite honestly, this takes literally about 3 minutes. So they've wrapped up what's been going on the entire season in 3 minutes. So all this fighting, all this setup, everything is resolved in 3 minutes, is what this is. Uh yeah. And Dick's disappointed because he wanted to kill Deathstroke, and yeah, uh or at least hurt him or something like that. But yeah. And so Dick is making sure that everyone's okay in the car and all that kind of stuff. And then he gets to talk to Jericho, who's in Rose's body now at this point. And Dick apologizes, and Jericho understands. He says he knows what the Titans stand for. They stand for goodness and blah, 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 blah. Um, and Jericho says he also likes the new Dick. So, I didn't know Jericho was into that, but hey, there you go. Deathstroke likes the new Dick. So, Deathstroke is dead, and Donna tells Dick that the night isn't over with yet. They're heading over to Golden Gate Park. So, Tiger Guard, in the meantime, is stalking a cop who's on the ground and calling in for backup when Cadmus arrives and unleashes Connor on Gar. Yeah. And Tiger Guard goes up to, Connor, and Connor punches him up in the air, and he flips, comes back down on his feet. And Gar, of course, can't bite through Connor's arm, and Connor throws Tiger Gar up against the wall and knocks him out. Because, yeah, Tiger. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Roboto. So Corey, Donna, and Don show up, and they're going to stop Connor, and they don't know what to do, of course. Rachel, in the meantime, is trying to talk to Gar in tiger form and trying to help him out. And they're like, "Well, what do we do?" And Donna's like, "Fuck, I'll go over and talk to him." And so she's trying to talk to Connor, even though she's never really met the dude. And Mercy orders Connor to eliminate the Titans. At first, she goes, eliminate the Titans, is what she says. And Connor punches Donna in the face, and she actually takes it and goes, "What the fuck?" And he starts trying to throw punches, and she's blocking him and throwing punches back at him until finally he like knocks her against this pole with the electrical lighting and all that kind of stuff and knocks her out. Corey, in the meantime, tries speaking Kryptonian to him, and of course, he starts swinging at her, and she tries punching him in the chest, but of course, She has no powers. So she's pretty much screwed. And he grabs her by the throat. Uh, and Hank shows up and hits Connor with something in the back of the head and says, "Let go of my friends." And Connor grabs him by the throat and is picking Hank up. And he throws down Corey. He's actually going to blast with the light with the laser beams out of his eyes when Dawn actually picks up a piece of mirror and yells at Connor, and he fires at her, and she aims the laser beams back at him and knocks him back. You know, so everyone's there. The gang's all there at this point, and the bidding at this point we see is almost at $1 billion because they're live casting this thing to the people that are interested in all this. When suddenly the video in the van starts to go out, and we see that Bruce Wayne has hacked into Mercy's van, and Mercy ends up getting a call from Lex Luthor. We don't know what that call is about because it never follows through in this episode, quite like a lot of things that happen in here. So Connor ends up catching an explosive batarang. It explodes, and we see in the puff of smoke, it reveals Nightwing. And Dick says they need Rachel in order to stop Connor. He's got an idea. So Rachel, in the meantime, is trying to get through to Gar, and she finally touches his paw or his hand or whatever. He ends up getting all his memories back, and he's back to himself again, and he turns human and uh, grateful and all that kind of stuff. So Donna ends up lassoing Connor. Rachel ends up lassoing Connor with her powers and then links Dick into this. So Dick enters Connor's mind. Yeah. And, he ends up showing him that they're in a black room or whatever. He ends up punching through the blackness, if you will, to create some sunlight coming out. And this invigorates Connor to break out of that memory, break out of Mercy's control, and then we see him in a field with Dick, and Connor can fly. He actually ends up flying in his mind, at least. So this is the first time we've seen him fly. At first, all we've ever seen him do is jump, and all that, but he can fly, yes. So he comes into the real world, says that he's himself, to let him go. He wants to end this thing, and they let him go. And of course he goes over to the van, and Mercy's guys are shooting at him, and they're like, "Fuck this, we're out of here." They leave. Mercy ends up trying to get out of the van there and take off, but she gets blocked in by Connor and Corey, and Corey ends up punching her out and hurts her hand in the process because, again, she doesn't have powers. Yeah. So Connor looks around at the park, at the fair or whatever, and he sees the destruction. And he says, "I caused this." Well, not really. Actually, Gar was the one that caused the majority of it. All you did was cause the light damage, the pole damage. That was it. And he says, "Well, really, it wasn't me, but it is me, so I'm accepting the blame." All right, that's great. So people are coming out of hiding, and they start to clap for the Titans. I'm like, you do realize that two of the people that attacked you are in the Titans there. So I didn't understand the clapping. It just, yeah, I was like, okay, whatever. So this little girl says, her dolly. She's talking about her dolly. So Don goes over and grabs the little girl's doll and hands it to her. And as she's doing that, the light pole that Donna had smashed into starts to fall because everyone's still standing around. And instead of moving to one side or the other of the pole, everyone starts screaming and they're like, "Run!" And they're running in the direct direction that the pole is coming down this way. And of course, they're running in the direction that the pole is following instead of just going to one side or the other, which causes Donna to use her super speed. Not Connor, by the way. Connor doesn't do this, it's Donna. She catches the pole, and it's got electricity in it, and the electricity electrocutes her to death. So yeah. Yes, they are doing that dumb trope. They are. Uh so the Titans bring Donna's bodies back home to the tower as Bruce does a voiceover of the cost of battle and the loss, as everyone, grieves in their own way and all this kind of stuff. And Donna's body gets shipped back to Themyscira, and Rachel says, "You know what?" She's talking to Dick, and she goes, "I've got these powers that are growing. They're getting weirder and stuff. I don't know what's going on, but I think I can bring her back." She goes, "I want to go with Donna's body. I want to go to Themyscira." And he's like, "Sure, go. Have at it." And she goes, "I might not return." He goes, "You always have a place here. You always have your room, all that kind of stuff." So, yeah. And as the plane is taking off, Dick sees out of the corner of his eye Jason on his motorcycle just outside the gates, and he's watching the plane take off too. And Jason puts on his helmet like the, emo little goofy kid that he is and drives off. Really. So Bruce comes to Titan's Tower and talks to Dick and offers his condolences and basically says, "Hey, things inevitably fall apart, and life is about how we put them back together." And you know, uh, Dick tells Bruce, "Hey, um, that when he took him in, he gave him a family, and that family actually kind of morphed into the Titans," is what he was saying. And Bruce is telling him not to grieve alone, that he needs to share his grief with the others. And Dick also thanks him for getting him the new suit too at this point. So Dick comes into Gar's room and gives him a book that was on Donna's bed and said, "Hey, this actually is who Donna is, that kind of thing, if you're really interested in who she is." And apologizes for leaving him alone to hold the Titans together, and tells him, "Hey, I'm gonna make some dinner. If you want to come out and help, I need some help, but just take your own time," is what he tells him. So Dawn, in the meantime, is packing up her dove costume when Hank comes in to see how she's doing. And of course, Dawn is blaming herself for Donna's death. She goes, she died saving me. And he goes, "You know what? I'm not really good about helping you out in these situations." He goes, "I really suck at it. You were the one that held me back, put me back together all this time." And he goes, "I just want to know," he goes, is there a chance at, giving it another shot with us?" And she goes, "Not with Hank and Don." And he goes, "Well, what about Hawk and Dove?" And she kind of thinks about it, of course. Yeah. So they're at dinner. Everyone's around the table there. Ravager comes in, or Rose comes in as well. And Corey thanks Bruce for bringing them all together back at the diner in Elko, Nevada. And Bruce is like, "I have no idea what you're talking about because I've never been to Elko before in my life." And Dawn has overheard this conversation too. And both her and Corey are talking. They're like, "Well, what the fuck's going on? We both saw him there. He says he's never been there." And Corey's like, "Well, you going to talk to Batman, call him a liar?" And they're like, "No. Of course not at this point." So something is weird, and they're thinking that Rachel might have gotten into their minds, and that might have been something that Rachel's might have done. And it might also not be a coincidence that Corey's powers are disappearing as Rachel's powers are getting weirder at this point. So we don't know exactly what's happening. So they're all drinking the orange nasty drink that Donna had, that Aqualad had given her in remembrance of Donna. And Dick says a few words about, when you lose someone you love, you need what they have together. It's family, the family that they've put together, not the family they're born into, kind of thing. And Gar gets up to go and get something, and he sees that cops and the bomb squad are responding to something out in the Mission District. And everyone kind of sits there and they're like looking at their plates or whatever. And Don gets up and says, "What are you guys waiting for?" And so we see them all in costume walking down the street. What I thought would have been cool was, since Bruce was there, as if Bruce had actually suited up as well and had kind of joined them, and maybe he was swinging overhead. That I would have loved to have seen. But yeah, we didn't get that. So as we go to black, we come back and we see this mom at a supermarket, and she's got two little girls, and loads them into the minivan, and she's loading her groceries in as well, when she gets hit with something on the side of her neck, which crawls into her ear, and we see her turn into black fire. And as she's walking away, this guy says, "Hey lady, your car," and she hits him and just kind of launches him off to the side. So obviously she's got powers, and we see her eyes glow purple, and that's where we leave off the season finale of Titans. So the whole Deathstroke thing that had been the entire Uh, you know, basically the basis of what was happening this entire season is literally taken care of in 3 minutes. The, Connor Garr thing, again, taken care of in probably, like, 5 minutes. And I was going, "Okay, well, why don't you guys take care of this sooner? Then we could have actually gone back and dealt with the whole Starfire, Blackfire thing, and you would have had more room for that." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. It's because of the budget and the fact that you guys don't have a budget." So, I don't know what to do about this show, quite honestly. It keeps going back and forth. It has some moments, and then it just really it takes, like, 1 step forward and then 15 steps back. And it's really kinda pissing me off, to tell you the truth. And the thing is, DC Universe does know how to get it. They've done it with Doom Patrol, they've done it with Swamp Thing, even though they canceled Swamp Thing, and yet this show doesn't seem like they can fucking get their act together for some reason. And yes, they have a 3rd season already, coming in online. It might be its last move for Nobby, who knows? Or maybe it's just, who knows? Maybe it's just so cheap that this will be the only thing that survives, and they'll cancel Doom Patrol. Pen Farm Girl says this episode could have been worse. I'm almost grateful they didn't put Ian in the bat suit. Yeah, I'm glad they didn't put Ian in the bat suit either, but they could have put somebody else in the bat suit, quite honestly. It was so dark most of the time, with all the cloud. They had a lot of smoke machines going on too, which was just making me laugh, quite honestly. So no one has kryptonite. No, they don't, Mr. Roboto. They don't. Not Bruce has it, but who knows where he's got it. Yeah, I didn't think they were gonna go their Pen Farm Girl with the girl power thing. So yeah. But once once you find a dick that works, there's no need to find a new dick. Nice, Viking bitch. That's pretty funny. Deathstroke or Dick Stroke? It's Deathstroke. That's what I was saying. I'm going back, by the way, in case you can't tell, because I wasn't looking at what you guys were saying because I was intent on my own jokes, my own dick jokes that I was saying. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, the bad news is you'll still be turned into a statue in for 80 cycles. The good news is Shiana and I are. Oh, okay. I didn't know what that was all about, but oh, good God. Yeah. I'm not gonna mention any of that stuff because it doesn't pertain to any of this. Pole damage, yes. I said pole damage, yes. Uh, yeah, there were enough dick jokes in this episode to last a while. Let me see what else we've got here. But the question is, does Dick suck? Yes, he does. Um, yeah. God, you guys are talking about anything but this episode, which I don't blame you. I guess electricity is the Amazon's weakness. Sir Cam Lanes. That's what I was thinking too. And then I was thinking, doesn't Connor have super speed and super strength, and he can actually withstand electricity? So why didn't he just run it? And I'm like, oh, that's right, plot device. I'm sorry. Oh, that's what was going on. Is plot device. And that way we can find out that Rachel can bring people back from the dead. How did they get Crypto back? Crypto escaped. Yes, he escaped with the doctor. I can't remember her name now. So yeah. Viking Witch says I didn't watch the show. I am just here for the dick jokes. Thanks. Yeah. Ah, he is also a clone. Yeah, he is a clone. He does have partial human DNA, which probably the electricity could affect that. And so also Donna is part Themysciran, part human as well. So that's the reason why she supposedly died, was because she's part Themysciran, part human. At least that's what I'm rationalizing it as, because Quite honestly, there's no other thing. And then we have the whole Elko, Nevada thing happened with that. Who they're setting something up there, but we don't know exactly what. Was this a new villain? Was this someone trying to help them? Is it fate? Quite honestly, I would love for them to do chaos and order, since they've already introduced that magic works in this world with Rachel. They could theoretically bring Hawk and Dove into this as, the chaos and order, um, to make them a little more powerful and also a bit more supernatural in a way. Because that's what they were in the 90s books, and that actually worked really, really well, because then they have a whole background of villains that have, magical abilities and things like that. That would be actually very cool to bring that in. And especially in San Francisco, you can always bring magic into San Francisco. That's actually one of those things that would work. Martian Manhunter on his way to Vegas or visiting friends at Groom Lake? No, I don't think so. Yeah. Yes, I am gonna be doing the Harley Quinn, animated show. What time is it now? How about we do 6 PM Pacific Standard Time? How's that sound? That way I have time to watch it, and then I can come back on and do that, and what else? We're gonna be talking about that at 6 PM, Stanley. 6 PM Pacific Standard Time. Dennis, would you like to see the disco suit Nightwing? No. That abomination is at best left in the 70s where it belongs, or 79 where it belongs. So yeah, Penn, I saw that you were having problems finding Nightwing's disco suit. Just look for first appearance of Nightwing. That's all you have to look for, and you will, or first appearance of Nightwing in the comics, and you will see the disco suit. It's got these wings that come up, around his neck, and he's got a plunging V-neck uh, on there as well. So yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Then I will be soundly asleep. Oh, you'll be soundly asleep at 6 PM? Sorry, Stanley. So yeah, that'll be my third podcast of the day, my third stream of the day, I should say. So that's the reason why I'm kind of spacing them out a bit. That's because I have today off. So because I have today off, I'm not grumpy, Mufanobi. I'm cold, is what I am. It's cold here in California right now. We're down in the 50s. Yeah, yeah. I saw it, not as bad as expected. At least it isn't neon colors. Yeah. Oh, my ass is sore right now, Viking bitch, from the seat. So regular streams are healthy, good for the kidneys. Uh-huh. No, you need to pee a lot, EJAR. That's the whole thing. That's yeah. Yes, yes, I am. Um, I'm there, Pen. So, with that said, if you like what you see, like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you want to know when I'm be on live again next, you can hit the bell. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you when I'm on. Best way to do it is take a look at my website, suspendedfanimation.com, and take a look at the schedule up there. You can also see that same schedule up on my Facebook page that I have for Suspended Fanimation. Speaking of Facebook, there is a Facebook group. You guys can join, you can post stuff and talk amongst yourselves there. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, I also have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. That will happen at the end of this year, beginning of next year. There we go. There we go. Why, Morks? Why don't you want me to leave? I'm gonna be back again in at 6 PM for Harley Quinn. And then I'm gonna be back again tomorrow for Saturday morning blast off. Is what I'm going to be doing there. Oh, also, if you're on the fence about joining up and signing up with me, take a look at the very end of this video. You're going to see a video pop up here where YouTube basically has the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching, and they try and match one of the videos in my vast video library with all the algorithms that you've been watching as closely as possible and pop it up there for you. Up here is going to be The Mandalorian. That's what's going to be there. The Mandalorian. And remember, if you want to win this little beauty, this Titans poster from Comic Con, da, 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 just leave a comment down below in the comment section when this turns into a video. You've got a week in order to do that. And remember, you have to live in the continental United States. And you got to be willing to give me your address, your mailing address, because if you don't give me your mailing address, then it moves over to the next person. Basically, what ends up happening is if I call out your name, I'm going to call out two names. Call up the winner, and then also the standby, the runner up. That's what I'm going to do. And the reason for that is I've had people just not get back to me at all, and so it goes to the runner up, and you know, essentially the winner has 48 hours to get in contact with me, letting me know what their mailing address is, and I can send them out to them. Continental United States only, because mail is expensive. Except for Movie Fanobi, he's cheap. Right, Viking bitch? I would have to move to the States for this, so no, thank you. Yeah. Call me again when you have a different president. No shit. I think he was born SBO, yes, where I'll finally learn the story behind the bulletproof ass. There is no story to it. And it's not bulletproof. So yeah. You supported me, Viking bitch. That's great. I don't know what you supported me on, but or about. So Fanobi isn't cheap, he's just extravagant. Yeah. I give him shit because I can. So with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go until 6 p.m. where you'll see me for Harley Quinn. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find out that Bruce was not the person who sent you over to Elko, Nevada, and he's never been to Elko, Nevada before in his life. And also, he's not the real Bruce Wayne. He's just pretending to be. Thanks, everybody. I will see you at 6 p.m. Until then, don't go changing. See you in a little bit.